Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back on the Uncle Sham channel. I know guys, I know I've been slacking once again on the channel when all this news is going down, but I've been away with work. I'm actually in Munich right now in Germany, around the same time that Sadio Mane is here, or am I here to negotiate for Lewandowski for Inter? But now, of course, we don't need Lewandowski now because today's video, Big Rom, again, it's not yet official, but as I've been confident pretty much for the last few months, it looks like it's happening. 8 million euros plus bonuses. Big Rom is coming back. Hashtag look who's back. The king is back. Whatever hashtag you want to give it, it is happening. Today I want to talk about the pros and the cons of this deal because it looks like it's pretty much happening, and also want to get your thoughts and feelings on it all because it is a one that's kind of splitting the fan base. Of course, some people are still mad at Lukaku and some people are ready to embrace him with open arms. But I want to give both sides of the argument as a Libra. That's just how it is with me. So let's get started. So the pros, first of all, obviously the hunger, the redemption story that Lukaku is going to bring along with him, because once again Inter need to save his career, just like we did when we signed him from Man United. He needs to prove his critic wrong once again. Obviously most of them are coming from the Premier League, and he needs to prove them wrong once again that he is the real deal. He is as good as he thinks he is. Remember when last season he was putting himself in that top 3 category with Lewandowski, with Benzema, with the man right there, and quite rightly so with the form he was in. But now he's nowhere near that. So he needs to get back into that conversation. So we've got a hungry guy, hopefully, looking to prove himself once again. And the other pro is, has anyone ever pushed for a move to Inter this much? Like, right now, off the top of my head, I really can't remember. I know there's some players that have pushed for their moves to Inter, of course, like Perisic comes to mind when he pushed the move through from Wolfsburg to come to Inter. But Lukaku, literally, guys, he has led negotiations with Chelsea almost like by himself, distanced himself from Pastorello. Pastorello is the agent that, I made clear on my videos last year that I didn't like, and I blame a lot of the moves of Lukaku to Chelsea on Pastorello, Rock Nation. Like, those are the guys that really pulled the strings on that deal, and he distanced himself from Pastorello. Used his lawyer Ledeur to like negotiate with Inter, get this deal through with Inter and Chelsea. Like, I really don't remember a guy pushing so hard to play for Inter, come back to Inter, even though he knows the fan base is kind of split against him as well. So that's a massive pro, that guy that wants to wear the shirt so badly. And even on the pitch, yes, undeniable flop for Chelsea, undeniable flop, especially for that money. But at the end of the day, he was their top scorer last season, 15 goals. He scored more than all of their guys, Kai Havertz, Pulisic, whoever you want to name. 15 goals, he was their top scorer in all competitions. So even in his worst ever season, in his biggest ever flop season, he was the top scorer and clinching goals for the Club World Cup. And then, of course, we move to him and his relationship with the Inter's players. He knows this team inside out. He was one of the leaders of this team in the Scudetto winning season, let's not forget, and even the season before with Conte. And of course his partnership with El Toro Martinez. We know that celebration, them two, when they get those guns out, one of the best partnerships I've ever seen in my football, watching football. So we just know that that's a hit. That's a pretty much a guaranteed set and hit in football, which there's not many guaranteed sets and hits in football, but this Lautaro Lukaku partnership is one of them. So that's another pro. And he's still 29, which is not particularly old. It's not young, but it's not old for sure. So he's still in his physical peak. Usually you say that players, athletes peak around 27, 28 years of age. But if they take care of themselves, as we've seen in modern football, they can continue that physical peak for a bit longer. And his attributes in Serie A, this is one of the main reasons why I am in favor of this move. I feel like he is still a cheat code in Serie A. So at 29 years of age, I think he's still going to add that massive cheat code ability, that those physical athletic attributes to this team that we missed last season, the pace, the physicality, finishing as well. And he also seems to have a good relationship with Inzaghi, even though he hasn't really actually worked with Inzaghi yet properly, because he only had those couple weeks when he came back from before pre-season, where it looked like everything was rosy and he was staying at Inter. There was loads of pictures with him and Inzaghi having deep talks and discussions, tactical discussions, smiling. So it looks like, you know, Inzaghi has already a good relationship with him. And I mean, financially as well, like, it's just a good deal, isn't it? After selling him for 115 million euros, getting him on loan for 8 million plus bonuses is just an absolute Pepe masterclass. Basically, Chelsea paid 100 million to loan him off us for one season. If you look at it like that way, it's absolutely bonkers. So there's plenty of pros, but let's move on to the cons. The cons, of course, in terms of, we're saying, you know, a guy that's hungry, ready for redemption, but also is a guy that's very low on morale right now. Like, this might be even lower than when he was at United, because at United we knew it was a dysfunctional team, all that kind of stuff. But Chelsea, you know, still a decent, no, like a good team, performing, you know, finishing top 4 in the Premier League comfortably. So there's nothing particularly dysfunctional about that team. And of course, you know, this was his big mission out there in Chelsea, proving the Premier League fans wrong as well, and he failed. So this guy is coming back from a failure, so we need to pick him back up off the floor once again. Can he do that once again? You know, that's definitely a doubt. Physically, I know I said, you know, he's 29, physical, you know, peak in terms of his athletic ability, but is he going to be as devastating as he was under Pintus and Conte, especially Pintus, the physical trainer that Inter had under Conte, the best in the game? Can he replicate those levels? Can he get himself down to that physical shape where he was an absolute beast, a machine that was still strong as hell, but also being able to get past players, outpace players, because that's the Lukaku that we need. And then Inzaghi, I've pointed to them potentially having this good relationship, but Inzaghi did hint to playing Lukaku slightly differently, to having more facing the goal, or maybe running in behind, having, you know, playing more like the Immobile role for Lazio, where it's more about the goal getting. But we saw under Conte, Lukaku had a completely different role. So can he thrive under this different Inzaghi way of playing football in general? And the way that he might want to use Lukaku, we don't know. That is still up in the air. And going back to his age, 29 years old, financially, I wouldn't want to buy him on a permanent basis. You know, there's rumors that this loan also has some options. At the moment, it doesn't seem like it's just a straight loan, but there's talks that, because we can't do 2-year loans anymore, but there's talks that Inter are probably going to try to renew this loan again next season, depending on how it goes. But yeah, to me, after the age of 31, really, Lukaku, because of how much I think he relies on his physical attributes, I wouldn't sign him on a permanent basis, especially if you're talking about 50-60 million plus to try to redeem him. So the clock is definitely ticking on Lukaku to use his peak ability right now. And going to the last point where I said, you know, financially it's a great deal in terms of what we pulled off after what we did last year. But at the same time, 8 million euros, that's the base loan fee. However, there are 4 million euros worth of bonuses attached to this deal, and all 4 are related to Scudetto. So if Inter win the Scudetto, Inter pay 12 million euros, which is absolutely fine. But it also means that there's a lot of pressure attached to this deal. Like, Lukaku has to perform. Inter are bringing him back to win the Scudetto. There's no hiding for Inzaghi, there's no hiding for Marotta, Ausilio, there's no hiding for Lukaku. The pressure is on him. There's no like, you know, like he can't have one season to get used to this. He needs to hit the ground running and win the Scudetto for Inter, snatch it off Milan. That's what he's been brought here to do, because 8 million plus 4 bonuses plus his salary, around 8 million euros net, which is actually slightly bit more than I thought it was going to be, because they were talking about 7.5. It has the growth decree benefits included in that, so actually in gross terms it's costing Inter, you know, around 11-12 million euros. So in total the deal is around about 20 million euros, which is very expensive. 20 million package deal for a 1 year for the guy is expensive. At the same time, though, it's actually cheaper than how much Lukaku would have costed us when we actually owned Lukaku. Amortization on the books plus salary was around 25, 26, 27 million euros originally, but now that we're getting him on loan is actually 20 million euros. So still actually financially still works out. But if you look at it on a strictly a 1 year loan basis, you're spending 20 million. So it has to be a hit. So pressure is on everyone to pull this deal off and for it to be actually working out. But yeah, that was my pros and cons of this Lukaku deal. Man, I'm excited to see him once again in the shirt. As I said to you guys, I will embrace him in open arms. But you guys might have seen today, Curva Nord released a statement talking about this Lukaku deal. They said they will support Lukaku, but they don't want Inter Curva Nord especially, or Curva Nord affiliated or Inter supporter group fans to be going to the airport or going to the headquarters to greet him with scarves and banners. They still feel like the feeling of betrayal is still lingering, which I agree with them. I agree with actually a lot of the Curva Nord statement regarding Lukaku today. But they will support him. They said, they will never go against an Inter player, which that's how it should be. But he has to earn his forgiveness on the pitch, and that's what I've been saying as well. Like, I do forgive. I forgive Lukaku. I'm not gonna hold on to the grudge. And especially, I think at the end of the day, even though he did push for the move, I think at the end of the day, I think even Inter probably would have pushed him out because it's like 150 million was too much to reject. But at the same time, he has got some making up to do to us and to his teammates as well. Let's not forget, he's got some making up to do to his teammates because he just abandoned them after the Scudetto as well. So he needs to earn it, but I am confident that he will. I hope he will. But you guys, let me know in the comments below, what did you make of my pros and cons list? Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? The Curva Nord statement, do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Are you gonna welcome Lukaku back with open arms, or is it gonna take some time to forgive him? But I'm sure, as I keep saying, a few goals, guys, and you guys will forgive him. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Keep a lookout on the channel. My content will start to get more regular as soon as I get back to England at the weekend. Ciao ragazzi, always Forza Inter.